So, for the next part of Disco Elysium, last time I'd hung out in front of that strike, talked to the scabs, talked to the big Seminese supremacist guy, and got my hand almost broken by him. Found out a little bit about a statue, and right now I met these two guys near the western part of, was it Jamrock? I believe is the area we're in. And I was about to talk to one of them before I'd quit last time. After he goes to sleep. So it's the afternoon right now. I think, yeah, it's still day one. Interesting. So I wonder if...
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time you bring out the measuring tape?
Honey, you're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please, let's just try to enjoy the game, alright?
This one's still chewing on his sandwich.
I am trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration. You're old, I can see that. We're both old. Now, stop grabbing your ass like it's a girl.
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. Grab a ball and play it. Don't ask questions. Shoot first. Ask questions never. Yeah. Oh, the ball's right here. Okay. Alright, I got this. Ball time. That's the spirit. Don't even waste your breath asking about the game. They wouldn't know anyway. They're way past their prime. I actually have a pretty decent chance of winning that. Yeah. Oh yeah. This felt wrong. Wrong like touching your sister's breast. You threw your sister's breast. Mon Dieu, the jolly man exclaims. Good job, officer. That was an excellent throw. There are no two more harmful words an athlete can hear than good job, and this was downright embarrassing. Hold on, why did it feel so wrong? Looks like you broke your shoulder, dude. Something about it was completely unnatural, corrupted. Your muscle memory knew what to do and went for it, but there were gaps. Aww. That's the first morale damage I've taken the whole game. It felt like you were going for a thrust or a lunge. There was definitely going to be jumping. Maybe you scored a point, but this is a fiasco. I thought something way more spectacular would happen. What are you talking about? You just executed a pretty much perfect petanque? Pétanque? Pétanque. That's what I'm going to go with. A perfect pétanque throw. His tone is full of admiration. How are you ever going to get the officer's shit off your nose, Gaston? Or even climb out of his ass? He shakes his head in extreme disdain. That's just how Johnny Ballgame is. Extraordinary. Right, the old soldier says slowly. Was the demonstration it? Or do you still need something from us, officer? Yes, officer. The lieutenant gives you a quick side glance. What do we need from these gentlemen? Well, yeah, I want to know about the body. Unfortunately, I don't, he shrugs. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement, but this affair has passed me by completely. And most of the locals? In Martinez, the union is the law, so can you really blame them? But you don't have a problem with cops? Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary, I admire the effort to bring order to our streets. He doesn't know about the crime. Your time is better spent discussing politics. So again, you don't know anything? If I knew, I would not be afraid to tell you. I simply don't. I am an old man, not a coward. The daily business of the riffraff no longer concerns me. 'Tis true, sire, he knows nothing. This is a man with a lot of past, but little present, and almost no future. You seem to be playing in a crater. Yes, the man nods. The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game. Was it made by a sea monster rising from the depths? No, he says without even smiling. It was left by heavy artillery fire. Okay, it's a crater left by artillery fire, but why? Why what? Why was heavy artillery used? Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home. Wait, who are the communards again? Commies, communists, socialists, anarchists, call them what you like. They just chose the name to feel special. The carabinier frowns. Senseless sentimentality. Did you use artillery fire against them? Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly, too. Too valiantly. So valiantly, we got licked, he adds, squeezing a boule in his fist. A ball? I don't know. Should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't, though, and we lacked caliber. God bless them. But the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough. It was probably a bit more complicated than that. Why shell them here in Martinez? Because this place is the damn beachhead, he says, pointing to the bay. Had to soften the colonies up first. The beachhead? Yes, he nods, inspecting you with some disdain. The military-coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revachol. He finds your lack of historic knowledge troubling, a sign of mental deterioration in the preceding generations. Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during the Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris, and the Delta. He points to the northeast. Deathblow sounds grim. This here is Blood Ground, where Coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, he says, looking down at the soil, we're playing pétanque on their mangled corpses. Blood Ground. The other one shakes his head. You got old Rene going there, like he isn't angry enough already. Hold on, the Coalition? Mm-hmm, he grunts. Don't get me wrong, officer. I hate those foreign dogs. But the enemy of my enemy and all that, they're the lesser evil. Is that why everything is so bombed out? Damn right, son. They laid the fire of hell on this city before they stormed it. And it worked, too. There's a strange gleam in his eyes. The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. A dark shadow runs across his face. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place. Well, it's your own damn fault, the jolly man marks. You, we, the Coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job. Officially, the party never surrendered. Of course they still hold influence. You don't even begin to truly understand the players on the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the... He stops mid-sentence and turns to you. What do you think? Thinking men have opinions on these things. Present one. Soft socialists paving the way for hard working class to take over. Preposterous. Surely you don't mean it. He frowns. I'm just sorry it had to be them. After 8 years of fighting those commie hyenas, boiling cats for food, and drinking my piss in the mountains, I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned to Revachol, or even if that damn clown Frizzell had risen from his grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case. This royal failure weighs heavily on him. Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with Tupethas everywhere. Foreign influence peddling garbage and stupid music on the radio, he sighs. This is just what the commies wanted. This is their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the rule of suzerain with. I don't know what any of these things are. How does Philip III factor into this? He doesn't, the veteran replies sharply. That was 100 years ago. It got nothing to do with anything. Who is this Frizzle? Frizzle. Damn Frizzle. He was the king we couldn't protect. The Carabineers failed him, and the crown. The old veteran falls silent and massages his chest. He died in the hands of the hoi polloi in a very public execution. You mentioned Guillaume. A true king in both blood and mind. Lead Revachol before Frizzle. He would have been better, but the damn commies drove him into exile. Some manner of self-deceit is present in his thinking. Sounds like this Guillaume abandoned him and he doesn't want to admit it. What exactly is a suzerain? The suzerain is the king. He has everyone forgotten already? He then slowly nods and says to himself, they've forgotten already. Soon they'll forget everything. Him too. Then he chooses anger over melancholy. It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened. When we took our last stand against the filth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire. What is it about this old soldier that makes him stand so proud? 3% sounds pretty good. All you observe is a veteran refusing to let go of the past in his old uniform. This is not uncommon. Legendary failure. He catches your glance and nods. This is the uniform of Royal Carabineers in service of Frizzle I Guillaume le Lion and the valiant King Philippe V before him. Don't you mean Frizzle the Fun? You do not speak his name, Craven. Although he was a clown, he adds. He turns back to you. But he was our clown. Ours to ridicule. And to mourn. There's something you missed. You will get to it, don't worry. About this statue. Ah yes, King Philippe III on his steed. A reminder of what Revachol once was. Oh, absolutely. He smiles as if reliving a pleasant memory. At the mercy of a cocaine-snorting tyrant who emptied the treasury so he could sleep on a bed of gold. A superpower, feared and respected, a testament to what this country can be under the leadership of a true king, someone who knows how to rule. How should a true king rule? Decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood. Seems to me a leader should take care of his people before himself. A nation is only as strong as its leader. That's why it was such madness to try to... Don't get started on that again. What happened, happened. There is some weariness in his voice now. He's heard this rant many times before. The Carabineer doesn't reply, but his entire being communicates unbreakable resolve. No one and nothing can change this man's mind. He is as rigid as they come. Still, in that antique uniform, it's a symbol for him. What was that about cocaine? Oh, old Philippe was a big fan of the purple nose candy the nobility loves so much. A cocaine connoisseur of sorts. He chuckles. His egocentricity is borderline legendary. You can't even take responsibility for yourself. How could you fathom the responsibility weighing on the shoulders of a ruler? He asks, obviously annoyed. That's why the Philippian kings used cocaine. For clarity of vision. To aid in their work. Regnum cocainum, Revishal's finest years. He seems to grow taller, brimming with pride about the past. Of course, the lieutenant marks dryly. Clarity of vision. Awareness. Philip III was even brought into the world with help of cocaine. The court medic administered a dose to his mother when she was in labor, and it is well known that with the help of cocaine, only the purest of course, he was able to connect with higher realms. Higher realms. Of course. It all makes sense. He's just making excuses for the king's habits, isn't he? I do want to know about these higher realms. It's really not. He turns to Renee. Please do spare us the cocaine fairy tales. Yes, indeed. We're not here to investigate the drug trade of centuries past. I kinda do want to know about it, though. Let's talk about something else. Right. The old man stands tall and proud, looking at you inquisitively. Okay, so that's locked. And I've done these. Alright, thank you for your time. Son, you really let yourself go. It's a disgrace. But Coach Physical Instrument is going to get you back in prime condition. Even if it takes 1,000,000 push-ups. Coach Physical Instrument? Does that mean you'll call me a maggot and a Nancy boy to motivate me? Yes, sir. Forge me into organic steel, Coach. I think I have a 1 in physical stats. Does a master swordsman insult his own blade? No! I'm going to turn you into an athletic benchmark, you big pussy. I mean, maybe if I get stronger, I could take on the 70s supremacist guy. But like that skill check was really high. I don't know if the bonus will be high enough. Sure, let's take it. It's going to take blood, sweat, piss, and tears, but when I'm done with you, boy, you will be a master athlete. Wait, why piss? When a man sets his mind and body on something and gives his 110%, he is sometimes going to piss himself. It just happens. No shame in that. Character so far is more of an intellectual, I suppose. But I don't know. I'll just see what happens. Oh, it's just something in my thought cabinet. So I guess I don't have to take it. It's just something that's available. Behold, world. Here walks a sportsman, hands chalked and hair kept back with a bandana. The Homo Athleticus. Oh, I do have an empty slot, so I could do it, I guess. Oh, it's -2 to encyclopedia. A temporary research bonus. Learning cap for shivers raised to 6. Weird wording for this. A bonus of negative stat. Looks like reaction. But yeah, I don't know. Research time is about 40 minutes. That's not too bad. So you're minding your own business, trying to get some detective work done, when suddenly a voice emerged from within you and told you you were a wuss, a namby-pamby, a sissy, and a limp jellyfish. This voice has zero gender sensitivity and even less empathy for underwhelming athletic performance. Try to purposely piss it off, see if it teaches you something. Pretend you don't know the difference between a double and a single support phase and a discipline of hammer throw. It hates that. Well, I don't know. Why not, I guess. Do almost have another skill point soon, so. And this whole thing. Maybe I'll just try holding on to morale healing items and see how much they heal later. Enormous bulls worthy of a real man. This coin-operated viewer has been banged up, inoperable. What's the... On the cover stands a very muscular man surrounded by flames. This book has a rose, a pistol, and a half-naked dame on its cover. Oh, it's a bookshop. Crime, romances, biographies of famous people. It's a bookshop. This is a book about pate. This book, you don't really understand what it is about, nor does it seem important. It takes willpower to even read the author's name, Jen Kaus, from Iguania? A book about Boidero culture? Promotes freedom and roaming upstream? A book about the future. The government reads your mind using radio technology. That seems accurate.
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open.
A young girl with chubby red cheeks waves at you, smiling. Her nose is also red from the cold. I am the law. Hi.
Are you interested in a new and exciting book?
She stomps her feet to feel warmer. What kind of store is this anyway? Some kind of strange paper shop?
It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's called Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
It's highly accurate. Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa! Hold your horses, little girl. Challenging but a failure. What? What is a book?
That is a book. They have stories inside them. It's like someone told you a story in a really long letter.
That's true. That is a book. What's a postcard?
A postcard is a small cardboard picture. You can write a few words on the other side and send it to your friend or beloved.
Cool. Empathy success. She is unfazed by your questions. She would consider it impolite to point out any perceived weirdness. What's a board game?
Board games are like little games on a table, made to pass the time. There are several different ones, but sailors here mostly buy cards.
Interesting, thanks.
My pleasure. Anything else you'd like to know?
Is it okay if I ask you some questions?
Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books.
You would hope that, wouldn't you? What's your name? My name is Annette, sir. My mom, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside, minding the register or organizing the stock. The girl gazes at the window, then suddenly jolts, her eyes wide, as if recalling something. Feel free to step in and browse your wares. And you're standing out here in the cold because... I'm signaling that the store is open, she nods eagerly. Otherwise, people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. A sudden gush of wind turns the pages of the books on the counters. She recovers her face, smiling, but she's cold. You're cold. Can I help in some way? Kind of you to offer, sir. She doesn't know what else to say. What could you do to help her anyway? Yeah, I don't have anything right now. I could help by brutally dismantling the free market. Thank you, sir. I'm glad to help Mom out with the store. She doesn't seem to understand what you said. Shouldn't you be at school or something? I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mom keep this place running. What is school, anyway? School? She rubs her head, chilled nose. Well, mine is a big yellow building on Boogie Street, and the people there run it. They say it's a charity. Isn't going to school more important than this? Mom says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mom says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life. You succeed. How's the business going? Mom says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being... She looks over her shoulders. Cursed. Behind her, the window has been boarded up. You sense the boards creaking, twisting for a second, and some kind of doubt in her tense shoulders. Cursed in what way? Cursed in a way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go. She's looking for the right word. Ass up. Bankrupt? Exactly. We've been doing fine so far. Sounds rather serious. I should probably look into this. Narrow your eyes and look through the creaking boards of the window. We can go into the bookstore and ask about the case, but I don't see much more to look into here. The lieutenant makes a note in his notebook. Yes, she chirps. Please do look at our wares inside. The postcards and board games you asked for are also there, sir. Yeah, I need to know about this curse. It does not manifest itself in any way. It does not exist. I liked it better when we were talking about whether it's appropriate to stand out in freezing weather. But Kim, the plasmic manifestations. No such thing. The lieutenant stands at your side, stern and serious. The girl looks back and forth between you two. Anything else you wanted to know about, sir? What do you know about the other field businesses? Nothing really, sir. Mom doesn't allow me to sneak around in the back room or the cellar. She looks a bit disappointed. I don't really know what's there. Alright, enough about the curse. Annette looks at your shaved, prickly chin. It distinctly contrasts with the oily mutton chops that surround it. Maybe I can tell you about some of our books instead. What is this crime business? Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals. No, I need to know what literal crime is. She doesn't know what to say. It's that bad. Point to your head. Crime is what we were solving before this conversation began. Okay, I get it. Crime murder gets the people going. She tots. And it's kind of like a puzzle, too. You can guess who the criminal is or how the good guys are going to catch them. I'm a policeman myself, by the way. You don't look much like a policeman. She examines you as if to find something policeman-like. Huh, well, what does a cop look like then? Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir, it's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen. She points to a book cover, which you see strapping Vespertine officer. He stands grimly over the body of a dead woman. Yeah, it's my head, the one that's broken. Head? Yes. No, it's your soul. Your blue soul. Drama. Not head, child. Heads. Soul, that Mullen guy looks like a Hampelman. Who would respect that face? It's not even drawn correctly. He lacks soul. I'm not sure if I understand either of these responses, but I'll go with the first one. She examines the illustration of Dick Mullen, attempting to find his soul. I'm not sure I understand. A policeman's got to have the right stuff, an ingrained sense of the law. No one would follow a weakling like Mullen. If you say so, sir. She smiles mischievously. He's just a fictional character. He's no match for your soul. Maybe you can show me some real police work, sir. The cover image of Dick Mullen seems to stare at you with harsh disapproval, like in the books. +1, Sashi Scold, +1, Afraid of the Curse. going to deduce something now. Ah, yes. You fail to deduce anything substantial. She waits intently. I am a detective. I deduce that you are very small. I can't deduce anything. Oh no. A small disappointment rolls over her, but she promptly gets over it and says, "It's okay, sir. You disappointed a small child. Well done, champ." What is romance? It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man. She smiles at the thought, perhaps imagining herself in that situation. Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady businesser. What about a poor man getting a rich lady? It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process, or should actually be rich himself, but has lost his family property unjustly, like during the revolution or something. I see. Those aren't happy books. For most of the pages, people sad about what they have lost. But then it all turns out just fine in the end. What about when both of the men are bad? These are not very common. You can't have a choice between a bad and a bad. Nobody wants to read a story like that. What if it's written really well? Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either because she doesn't need a bad man. Yes, that would be interesting. What about when everyone is poor? That's really not a proper romance story. That's more like everyday life. Sometimes you have to write about the real life things. Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone is happy in the end. What about a book where the man and lady business doesn't work out at all? I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mom? Yeah, you think she has one about an excruciatingly painful breakup? I don't think it's a romance story if the main characters break up, though. She pauses, trying to figure out the appropriate answer. Think about it. One where they plunge into a torrid spiral of pain and recrimination, only it's really long and drawn out. Scarred for life. Phantom limb. No? I don't know. She looks at you with puzzlement. Doesn't ring a bell? Alright, I'll ask your mom. Yes, she nods relieved. She knows books, definitely. Conceptualization? What was that? An idea for an unfinished novel stuck somewhere in your forebrain? Oh yeah, his notebook does kind of suggest that he's like maybe an amateur writer, possibly. So maybe this will lead into that. Who are these famous people? Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers and musicians, those kinds of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them. She scratches her cold, reddened cheek, then continues. I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame. Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them. Reading those doesn't make the readers more famous, does it? But it does make the famous people more famous. She smiles gleefully. Those famous people sound like a bunch of dorks. Annette's expression remains ever so hopeful, but she doesn't say anything. Yeah, you heard me. Only losers waste their time with that garbage. Isn't that kind of a childish thing for a grown-up to say? When she grows up, and if she grows up to be clever, she'll discover there's no such thing as a grown-up. Let's see. Alright. Back again, suddenly had to really go to the bathroom. Sorry about that. Let's see. So conceptualization. When she grows up, and if she grows up to be clever, she'll discover there's no such thing as a grown-up. What makes you think I'm grown up? You look all wrinkly and hairy like an old person. I'm not that old. I'm just fine, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm old, that's just what happens to people. I wonder how I'll be when I get old, she mumbles. Maybe I'll also get all wrinkly, she giggles to herself. I guess that's everything. Okay, bye, see you around. Nope, nope. Hey, so we've been monitoring your... we've been monitoring you internally, and now we know your capo type. Wait, there are capo types? Yes. Guess what's yours? I'm sorry you had to monitor me. Some kind of cool cop? No, you're the sorry cop. The cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we? Huge lack of enthusiasm going on in here. I'm sorry. Fucking they should be sorry. Okay. What are the other coppa types? Oh, you know, Apocalypse, Superstellar, the Advanced Interesting Cop, Liquid Shadow Cop. But you're too sorry to say those things, so here we go. Won't the other coppa types be jealous? What? Jealous of the sorry cop? I think they'll be fine. Don't worry. They'll be super fine. It'll be totally okay. You can dual capo type from sorry to anything. Dual capo type. Fucking they should be sorry. Yes. Infinite rage and lamentation. Let's wrap it up. I'm actually not sorry. I changed my mind. No, you don't. Come on. You'll be back to saying sorry in 2 minutes. Stop wasting time and begin the revenge. I'm sorry. Of course you are. It's okay. See, if you can get something out of this, like info, or maybe every time you say you're sorry you get $1 million, that won't happen. Rigorous self-critique. Authority, embarrassment to the party. You're one sorry piece of shit. A cop penitent. A flagellant cop monk. This is not the right line of work for you. You should be groveling at the feet of the feudal lord, providing lurid evidence against yourself at a Mazovian show trial, or ripping the flesh from your back with a cat of nine tails. Whatever made you this way, you can be damn sure it was your own fault. Do it. Really criticize yourself. Who knows? You might uncover something of importance from your guilt-ridden past. Huh. Well, the last part actually does make that sound kind of interesting. But it could also be possible that nothing happens at all. What does Hobocop give me? It gives me more shivers, but that's just the learning cap. I don't think I'm really going for shivers. What happens if I forget? You don't have enough skill points available to forget. Oh. I kind of want the encyclopedia back. This is -1 to authority. Encyclopedia seems more fun. I don't know. Gives more interesting stuff about the world. So I might go with that. How long does that take? 6 hours. Old sports magazines tucked away in a dark corner. The book collects the national recipes of Arda. They're all about lake trout. Gift books and molten candy. The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. Nearly all the titles contain the word Helmdall somewhere. Storekeep, tell me about the Musselman books. Plaisance. Oh, Man from Heimdall. A very popular series of adventure novels. She looks at the book with some disdain. They're all awfully immoral and violent books. Why are they so popular? Blood and violence, scantily clad women, epic narratives, all those mystical things he encounters. They're bound to grab those with little imagination and nothing to do. Hey, sounds good. Which one should I start with? What does it matter? They're all the same. She rolls her eyes and fiddles with her pendant. However, the customer is always right, they say. If you're a novice of the series, I'd recommend Heimdallerman, the Man from Heimdall. It's supposed to be a good introduction to the series. I don't have any money. Look through display books. Rows and rows of Heimdallerman blur your vision. You make out some titles: Man from Heimdall and the Mammoth Riders, Man from Heimdall, Return to Heimdall, and the solipsistic Man from Heimdall and the Heimdall Man. Good God, how many are there? Maybe 100? Man from Heimdall and the Sages at the End of the World, Man from Heimdall and the False God, Man from Heimdall and the Scorched Earth, Man from Heimdall, the Heimdall Colonies, Man from Heimdall and the Swamp Beasts, Man from Heimdall and the Snow Crabs. Is that all? Not even close. Man from Heimdall in Hell, Man from Heimdall in the Forest of Slaves, Man from Heimdall into the Lake, Man from Heimdall and Heimdall Burning. There's even The Trial of Death, a pisternal combat game book set in the world of Heimdallerman, and so much more. Pain Threshold. Do any of the books call out to me? Hey, 42%. A twinge at the back of your head makes you flinch. Your eye starts twitching. Ow! Man from Heimdall series. Your hand reaches toward a book with glossy cover art of a very muscular man from Heimdall in chains, kneeling in front of a staircase leading to a throne. A woman sits on the throne, leering at the man. She's laughing at him, belittling him. Between the throne and the Heimdallerman lies a bonfire, casting shadows on the wall. The shadow of the woman's headdress looks like a pair of devil horns. The title reads, Man from Heimdall and the Devil Woman. Aren't all women devil women? Interesting. The display rack before you is burned under piles of Man from Heimdall novels. Burdened, not burned. I don't have enough money for that shit. Is that the same thing? Yeah, it looks the same thing. Mountain of board games. A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Weirol-related merchandise. Storekeep, what board games do you have here? Wonderful board games, sir. The Viticulturalist is a classic for sure, or perhaps you'd like Archipelagos of Insulinde? I don't know. A very educational game for those interested in geography. Rowbritter is a fun game of economic competition, but can get quite intense after a while. We have games for the whole family. You can play with your children. Who are you going to play board games with? Do you have friends or family? Do I have friends? Looks at the lieutenant. I don't know if he's interested. Wow, I have children? A family? Ow. It certainly feels like whatever you are will die with you. I wonder what happens if I lose all my morale. Yes, kids, friends, chicks. I have all those, definitely. Absolutely. Totally happening. Then you're a lucky man, officer. Children are the greatest treasures. She fiddles with her pendant, thinking. For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you build a civilization, then set off to brutally colonize and repress other civilizations. It'll cost 12 real. It's actually pretty cheap for a board game. I mean, I'm assuming that the real is similar to dollars, but... So what about all these Whirl things? Lousy auras there, she shudders. No role-playing games are popular among those types, you know? Who are into those kinds of things. Personally, I don't like it. Not at all. I've heard they turn people into occult enthusiasts, that they have rituals where they try to summon entities, highly immoral stuff. You can still buy them, though. She looks at the table, crossing her arms. Look through the pile for related items. Mountain of board games. An endless variety of source books, lore books, and codices litter the table. The topmost book is titled Welcome Compendium 2nd Edition. There's also a large hardbound tome with intricate cover art. The Hunters of Katauk, Boreal Creature Compendium, and a Pick Your Path Adventure game book titled Tales of Whirl, Cavern of Velkrog. Books in a board game section? Who wants to read books? Binoclard. Anything that really catches my eye? There's a box that says We're All 3rd Edition Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side panel notes a fantastique adventure board game, new maps and miniatures. A sticker on it displays 25 real. That price is steep, but then it's a 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplement, so it makes sense. I don't have any money for this place. I'm out of money. I'm just going to go back into your little place here. Closed curtains. You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like trinket dangles from the curtains.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only.
Mm-hmm. She's right. Those curtains give off some eerie vibes. Better not mess with it. What's so eerie about those curtains? Be wary of those mysterious ornaments from the Dark Isles. Dark Isles? What's going on? Do you realize what's out there? Upon the mist-shrouded islands of Ile de Fantôme or Simonine, eerie pygmies and wild shamans with practicing unnatural mysticism? Okay, I guess I can kind of see where this is going. Yes, I've sensed that. It's terrifying. They lurk in the tropical pale of Simonine, casting strange magics on everyone. Ignore the curtains, or suffer the consequences. So now I understand what the skill is going for. Shopkeeper, what's behind the curtains? Nothing. Now please go back to browsing books. She fiddles her pendant. Don't you feel compelled to look at the books? The books, sir, all you care about. She speaks almost as if she's trying to put a spell on you, urging you to buy more books. Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring they become. Examine the strange cage-like trinket. You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks, and straws. Inside, a disturbing fish head with empty eye sockets stares at you. From the looks of it, this is a traditional Simonese ward, meaning to provide protection against ill luck, bad dreams, curses, and other supernatural scourges. And who are the Simonese? Inhabitants of the Ile de Fantôme with Simonine Islands down south. Don't listen to what Inland Empire told you. It's a beautiful place with a rich and unique culture. Closed curtains. Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with fish head charm at this time. The curtains remain shut before you. Pull those curtains. Just as you're about to pull apart the curtains, the petrified voice of the shop owner cries out once more. Sir, don't touch that. I told you it's off limits for the customers. Her hand had closed around her pendant, her fingers nervously playing with the talisman. Parapsychologically speaking, we're done if you decide to open them. I won't be held responsible for consequences. It's too dangerous. Oh, yeah, the curse. This is about the curse. That's why you're afraid? No, it's just a storeroom for the employees. I told you. Now please step away from the curtains. She's almost begging you. Yeah, I'm a cop. I need to get in there. Why? It's not like anyone was killed there. She stops abruptly as her hand flies over her mouth, baffled by her own bluntness. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so impolite. Just please don't go in there. I can't allow that. You'll only make things worse and unleash the powers. But I sense this place calling for me. I must investigate beyond the threshold. You do? She grabs her pendant again, visibly shaken. My God, even more reasons not to mess with the curtains. Just step away, dear sir. I don't care. You can't stop me. I'll open them. No. She raises her hand to try to stop you. Please just talk to me, officer. Come here and let's talk this through before you decide to anything extreme. Rhetoric. Talking is always good. Go see what she has to say. There is something mysterious about the curtains. Be careful. The curtains, tarred with age and covered in dust, hang before you, as if taunting you. I mean, just rip them apart. You see a dimly lit room full of dusty furniture and trash. A doorway stands in the back, covered in dozens of scary little Siamese wards, your shadow looming over it like an omen. I warned you. You are unleashing forces beyond your understanding. Well, I'm just gonna go in, I guess. Ghostly silhouettes of hair dryers. A vaguely androgynous portrait of a man. Merely looking at that unmanly haircut threatens your masculinity. A worded door, a heavy door with a missing handle, stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Siamese trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked. 17%. I like those odds. Ow. Nailed it. Ah, shoot. Whose moronic idea was to just run through the door? Don't you know that things like that hurt? Wait, yeah, did I take the sorry cop thing? I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I deserve this. My body deserves to suffer for being this weak and disappointing. Are you alright? The lieutenant steps closer, his eyes soft and worried. This looks pretty intense and painful, I must admit. What's going on there? An upset, high-pitched voice calls out from the bookstore. Are you really trying to break down the back door? I warn you, don't tempt the spirits, officer. You can hear her take a frightened step backwards. Don't tempt the spirits or you'll damage the holy wards on the door. It barely looks like you've done any damage to the door. However, it's locked and closed, covered in dozens of little charms and trinkets. Oh, could just knock on the door. Only an echo. No one is there. Well, I am nearly dead, both physically and mentally. Let me just take a... Got one back. Okay.
You've hurt yourself now. I told you not to mess around back there. What are you even trying to accomplish, you fool?
I need to know what secrets lie behind the door. It's part of a spiritual quest. You're only making things worse. Stop it. Be compelled to look at books. She fiddles with her pendant. Go to them. The girl outside mentioned that this place is cursed. Cursed? Who said that? Annette? She blinks. I will have word with her. This place is not cursed. It is robustly magnetic energy. Good for commercial activity. My business is thriving, sir. Sorry, I had to cough there for a second. What in God's name is she talking about? Doesn't feel like it's thriving. Feels ghostly. Your daughter is the one standing outside the store, right? Annette, yes. My daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post, doing her job like a proper girl? Yes, of course. Wonderful. Did you talk to her? Yes. Great. On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her? Well, her opinion of her daughter depends on how well she lured you into the store. I'm not going to grade a human being, I don't do that. Come now, it's not personal, it's about proper sales practices and market research. She crosses her arms. I expect an answer. 10. She is certainly very polite and helpful. My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. She is immensely satisfied with the answer. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette. I'm here to dismantle the free market and abolish child labor. She rolls her eyes. You must be kidding. There's nothing like that happening. Depends. How much do you pay the kid? Good sir, what does a young child do with money anyway? No, I save it for her as a fund. She's securing her financial future out there. Such criminal behavior would not happen in more developed countries. In some more developed countries, this sort of thing is 2 felonies, child labor and slavery. Those countries will realize they've raised a lazy and spoiled generation. Her tone is decisive, not at all angry with the insinuation. How are we done? Are we done with the jokes now? Yes, we've had quite enough fun here. Right. Lieutenant taps his foot. The way you're handling it, though, does strike me as wrong. Mind your own business, sir. Her posture becomes very rigid. In our society, people don't get to tell each other how to raise their children. It's none of your or anyone's business. Denial is the way she copes with criticism. Okay, let's change the subject. The one before you scans the store, her shoulders rigid and tense. Every now and then she nudges her glasses. What if I want to buy a book? Goodness, you're already doing good browsing the shelves. Why'd you stop? She fiddles her pendant, then waves her bony finger directly at you. Don't you feel compelled? Go, get back there. The books await you. So what types of books do you have? Everything is on the shelves. Take a look. Take a look yourself. She nudges her glasses. The shelves compel you, don't they? Okay, I'll take another look then. She smiles and nods, seemingly relieved. Very well now. I think this one... Ah, yeah. That is so cool. I love these pictures. 0.000% of communism has been built. Evil, child-murdering billionaires still rule the world with a shit-eating grin. All he has managed to do is make himself sad. He is starting to suspect Krasnozov fucked him over personally with his socioeconomic theory. It has, however, made him into a very, very smart boy with something like a university degree in truth. Instead of building communism, he now builds a precise model of this grotesque, duplicitous world. Left-wing dialogue options give plus 4 XP, -1 to visual calculus, reaction everywhere, -1 to authority, downtrodden, infocommunist. Okay. Why do if I click that one, does that go? I'm just wondering why there's a lightning bolt to this one and this one, or if it means anything. -1 to visual calculus, what is that? Reconstruct crime scenes, make laws of physics work for the law. That is kind of cool, actually. Learning cap for more money from selling tear. Reveals extra special collector's edition tear bottles on the map. I still haven't found those, but I haven't done tons of exploring yet. And I don't have any money. Shelf of crime novels. These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. You see the name Dick Mullen over and over. Storekeep, what's all this crime fiction? Oh, crime, robberies, murders, she lowers her voice. Even sexual crimes. We're fortunate to have Dick Mullen and his stories to sort all that out. You're a police officer, apparently. You should buy all of those. They really do teach a person how to be a proper detective. Look through the display. Crime fiction is a disgrace. An asinine misrepresentation of the physical attributes and the arduous everyday work of actual police officers. These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on leads and eliminate dead ends. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of, year after year, coming into contact with people during the worst days of their lives. Not a single mention of all the stress that the work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of the books found on the shelf? Yeah, let's do it. You see Dick Mullen on the Job, Get Me Mullen, The Stalwart Adventures of Richard P. Mullen, Dick Mullen, The Murder on the Orchard, The Sordid Affair of Dick Mullen. A killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the Murder House, The Final Case of Dick Mullen, an obvious lie. Dick Mullen in the Clock Tower, The Ordeals of Dick Mullen, Dauntless Dick, Dick Mullen's Funeral Pyre, The Murder of Dick Mullen. Dick Mullen dies? Oh no, turns out he faked it to solve a case. Are there any more? Yes, there's also The Dame Who Did It, Farewell My Mullen, faking death seems to be a common trope in the Mullen series, more Tales of Dick Mullen, A Dark Tide Turns, Tragedy Calls for Dick Mullen, another one with fake death, and of course, Dick Mullen, the Murderer. In order to catch a murderer, Dick Mullen must become the murderer. Spirit Decor, come on, this is not the real way police solve crimes. The real police are some 20 kilometers away, sitting in an armored motor carriage. Mac Torson. A bald man turns toward a lean man and pats him on the back. Come on, Chester, tell the story again. Oh, these guys. Again? Man, I tell that one at least once a month. It's not that interesting, Chester replies. The fuck it is, the bald man replies. And these guys haven't heard it. He motions to the civilian sitting in the back seat. You see Chester here? He pokes his finger at the lean man. Chester faked his own death once. Gosh, why? One civilian looks on, amazed. The bald man bellows a reply. A very fucking dangerous case, ain't that right, Chester? They almost got you that time. Yeah, sure came close, Chester mutters in return, then turns to the rapt listener. Alright, so I was telling this guy called Francis the Shoe. The inside of the motor carriage is thick with cigarette smoke. Outside, it starts to rain. Inland Empire. After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen? It's me. Damn. Your attempt to grasp at the answer fails. It seems very close by, pulsating just out of reach. Wait, isn't Dick Mullen the books? Okay, whatever. How would I not know that now? Okay, whatever. Quaint picture of a book brochure, very colorful. It's a tome of fascist magic, rather candid. Another boring book, just discarded here. A shelf of paranormal books. This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature. What books are these? Sir, please no browsing in that shelf. She narrows her eyes. That wisdom is not for free. I can't have you end up, like, opening a police store next door and stealing my customers. Oh no. Look through that shelf. Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named Matthias W. Dundas. It's about wholeness, unity, balance. These three things are very important to the working class mind. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice in situations where they don't have access to paid health services. How does that work? It serves platitudes while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind people don't have access to and which costs more than this book, is garbage. It'll only give you cancer anyway, without even curing your cold or anything. Wholeness, unity, balance, on the other hand, can basically take care of anything. It is important to note, when it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill in the first place. Does the book say anything else? The book features chapters on topics such as how to find magnesium. It even lists plants you can harvest magnesium from, how to continue drinking if you're an alcoholic who has destroyed his liver, and there's even a chapter in the ancient Syria's tradition of using duck gallbladder preservatives to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Pre- and post-factum apply. Nothing worth buying. This is just mundane garbage. What's even paranatural about this? Hey, I got this. Find something truly otherworldly. The throbbing in your head increases with every passing moment you gaze at this shelf. Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes apparent. The title of it reads, Medicinal Purposes of the Pale. What's the pale? The book contains very little explanation on the matter. This knowledge seems to be taken for granted. What's this book about? The book contains descriptions of various pseudoscientific therapies, alternative medicines, and folk remedies involve the pale, also known as le territoire. For example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venik, or hand broom, made from the leafy twigs of a young birch tree from the near pale. Sounds invigorating. It is, and good for the circulation too. What else? It also recommends consuming distilled spirits like vodka or whiskey that have been aged in the pail. Readers are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole just inside the pail and leave them there for 30 to 60 days, depending on the potency desired. And what does this pale-aged liquor do? Among other benefits, it is alleged to restore a damaged liver to perfect health. That seems improbable. I should probably get my hands on some of that. What else is in there? For general health and well-being, readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the pale, though a sidebar cautions readers to limit each stroll to less than an hour. These strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and body of toxins, especially if the perambulator performs this ritual in the nude. Nudity figures prominently in a number of these prescriptions. This is exactly what you need. Huh. Anything else of note? There's an entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligations. I mean, I don't have a wife, but I probably need that. Excuse me, sir, I believe you've been perusing that particular volume long enough. If you'd like to continue reading, I must insist that you buy it. Ooh, I have not enough money, as always. And is that a map? Map wall. Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insolinde, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martigny. Let's look at this. This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is the Caillou. You are here. Another, far away in the southwest, Semines Islands, Ile de Fantôme. Ozone, Laurentide, Face à la Mer, Archipelagos, North Arcade Islands, all just specks of dust on the vastness of an Insulindic. On the edges of the map, the color fades into a blur of dotted lines, black and white. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the northeast of Caillou, and a bookstore. It's you. Can you see cities on the islands? You can. On Caillou, Revachol, a single black star. On Ozone, Fond de l'Air, and Vermandoux. On Archipelagos, Croix-en-Moraine, Villiers. On Semines, Old Duvai. And on Laurentide, Dura of the Seven Seas. Lost little pearls of light. Tiny fires in the dark. 850 million people live on these little dots, an oceanic world of culture and commerce torn apart by history. Look at the edges. The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Mundi is the north azimuth, Grad is the northeast azimuth, Samara is the east azimuth, Seol is the west azimuth, Isolas they're called. Connections to other worlds, worlds past the Insulindian, unknown to you. You only know you've never been there. You have little idea what they are, distant stars, gods, but looking at them makes you feel almost non-existent. Whatever they are, the Isolas are immeasurably large compared to you, and very, very far away. Perhaps they are gods, gods of distant and outer dust. Look at the map of Revachol. The north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the delta of a river. It is the River Esperant. Countless bridges put the shards back together, connecting city blocks to river islands. The delta says a great artificial heart in the center, teeming with life forms and construction. To the east, rolling hillsides, La Hardin, Stella Maris, the suburbs of St. Baptiste, swallowed up into the megacity. They sound rich to you. This is Revachol East. And west of the river? Cron, it's somewhere to live. Not bad. Then there's Jamrock. It's bad. People shouldn't live there, but they do. Then Faubourg. It's almost as bad as much larger. Then Coal City. It's the worst. And Martinez? It's so small you can't even see it on the map. No, wait. There it is. North of Jamrock, the strip of coast next to the Great Revachol Industrial Harbor. It looks downright despondent. It's almost Coal City, to be honest. No, this is somewhere to be. This is all you have. But it's still something. Streets and sodium lights. The sky, the world. You're alive. You're still alive. Alright, look at the map of Martinez. It's not really a map. It's a tourist thing. A picture postcard with buildings on it, drawn from an isometric perspective. A date in the upper right corner says 48. Still, it's detailed. Could be pretty useful for scouting ahead. You see the jagged boxes of an industrial harbor. Even the whirling in rags is there. Can I buy these? Sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore. Besides, you could scarcely afford them. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though. Why is the one in Martinez so cheap? That old thing? It's an out-of-date map of tourist location that never was nor came to be. For when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago. They also renovated the horse statue, set up those coin-operated viewers, and designed the new street lamps. The place does not look like a successful tourist trap, does it? What happened then? They didn't get far, for some reason. A shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad for business. I mean, it's a useless map. Heck, it's the only thing I can afford, so I'll buy it. She nods. Always good to be informed of your surroundings. Is that another thing I can interact with? What's this last thing? Shelf of biographies. The plaque on the shelf reads biographies of famous people. See a large variety of names, none of which ring a bell. Anything of note in this shelf? I would say, the woman hums to herself, the greatest innocence. Yes, most certainly. It's an important educational tool, delving into the depths of history, religion, and their relation to inocentric power. Who or what is an innocence? A very influential historical figure, but surely I don't have to tell you that. She waves her hand as if casting aside the thought. You're a law officer, and law officers have at least some education. The book is also very daring. The author claims to re-examine the universal understandings of the inocentric system, creating a fresh vantage point and a shift in the tired order of things. I thought it was about which of these innocences is the coolest and greatest. Perhaps for a layman, she scoffs, deep analysis is necessary to peel back the multi-layered meanings. Do her words seem vague and abstract to you? So you recommend it? Certainly, it's prudent for a person to have at least an elementary understanding of history and society. Imagine the chaos we'd be in otherwise. You feel like you should get this one. Definitely. It's important somehow. There's something personal inside. I can't afford it, just like everything else. Look through the display. Browsing through all the books with all their names makes your head spin. None of this seems important or relevant. It's all just vapid egoism. Suddenly, a particular odd title catches your eye. It reads, High Speed Love, the Tragic True Story of Jacob Irv and Alfie Delatraz by one Cecilia Averbrook. Cecilia Averbrook. What's it about? High Speed Love chronicles the romance between two of the finest tip-top Tournier racers in history. One of them is the madcap driver, Jacob Irv. His blonde mane graces the cover. Next to Irv's life story, you see a slim biography of an occidental rock star called the Anti-Star. He's famous for shooting morphine into one of his eyeballs and cocaine into the other. Next to that, Ravishalian radio personality William Bevy stands in front of a rundown drug den. He's a permanent fixture on Channel 8, reporting on real-life crime and ruining cops' days. I really must insist you buy one of the books. You're interrupted by the shopkeep. Reading them is not for free. Do still browse, though, but not too long. She understands she has erred against the customer and immediately corrects her course. I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you. You are browsing. Go ahead. Take your time. Time is commerce. Can't afford any of that. Everyone knows the most interesting thing about fascists was their magic. The kind that was so useful and worked, I guess. So that's everything in the shop. And I think that's actually enough for this session. So, almost died in several ways, surprisingly, just from being too sad. I've internalized Mazovian socioeconomics, and I got some XP bonuses from that, I guess. But I'm less of a cop, so I have less authority in visual calculus. And internalizing, I assume that since this takes 6 hours, it must be good. That's usually how research in games works, right? That's what I'm hoping, at least. So, maybe that will happen next session, but right now I'm going to end it here. So until next time, have a good one. Take care.